The create, let me show you what's in the create project. You can't get at the project, you've got to be in a sketch to get at project. So let me just hit that, and it doesn't matter what sketch, we're into a sketch to show you where it is. And on the create button down here, you've got project and include, and you've got project, intersect, include 3D geometry, project the surface, and intersection curve. So we'll see how we go on time as to where we get with this, all right? Let's just finish that sketch. Now what I've prepared here is what we can call a 3D curve. So if I look at it from the left, you can see it curves away, and if we look at it from the top, it's not a straight line, if that makes sense to you, because in the past when we've showed you this sweep command, it's been on a curve or a straight line in one plane. But you can see from this, if I turn the body off, you can see that it's that, and let me put the origins back on again. You can see that it goes that way in that origin, and then if we go to the left, it curves that way as well. So looking at it in 3D, it curves, hopefully you can see that it curves through two planes. So how do we get that curve? You could draw it in 3D drawing mode in the spline command, but you would be moving it all over the place trying to get it right. So this is where one of the project commands come in. So let me get rid of this curve a moment first so we can see what's going on. Right. And what I'm going to do now is, first of all, we draw one curve that represents the curve on this plane. Okay. So that's one curve. That's the shape we want when viewed from the front. Okay. And then from the left, whoops, where are we? That's the shape then of the other curve. Okay, so we've got our two curves there. Let's go back to home. And you can see there, we've got that curve which is on this plane, and we've got that curve there which is on the bottom plane. Now, don't ask me how you calculate these two curves. There's a bit of try and error unless you're really good at geometry and maths. Because what we're going to do now is go back into sketch. It doesn't matter what plane we take, you can just click anywhere, it really doesn't matter. And we're going to get them now into create, down to project, and down to intersection curve. Okay, and what this will do, it will create a curve that's the sum of these two curves. So it will take the two 2D curves, if you like, and create a 3D curve. So we select that one, and we select that one, and that gives us the 3D curve. I'll turn the other two off. Can't finish the sketch would be a good idea. And that's our 3D curve. You can see the shape of it there where it goes across. And I've put a profile on the end here, which we then just sweep along and we end up with that shape. Now the sort of situation where this would be in use, if you look at the mouse, if you're using a mouse and you look at your mouse now, look at your mouse from the top and you'll see the sides have a definite curve one way. Look at your mouse from the side and the curve goes the other way. So to create that curve that you want, you would need this intersection curve. Now, I think it was Mal that mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at, I forget what we were looking at, Mal, but it was to do with curves then, and you made reference to advanced curves. And curves can be really involved. And as you can see here, is that I just drew two curves at random. But to draw the two curves that you would want to get this composite curve would not necessarily, I don't think it's anything I would do, but I thought I'd touch on that one, and that's the project intersect curve. I'm now going to move on to the more useful parts of it, as it were. Before I do, let me just go back down to show you the boxes again. Now the include 3D geometry I'm going to touch on, and the intersect I'm not going to do. I'll do project, and we'll do projector surface. Now I'm going to do the projector surface first, and what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our old friend the post office, the post box, sorry. And what we're going to do is create this opening and these curves here. Okay, so, and this is how we go about it. Let me go back in the timeline. So what I've got my cylinder, and I've drawn my sketch out here on an offset plane. And you remember, let's find it there, there it is. Remember, we've done offset planes previously. So there's my offset plane. It doesn't matter how far in advance. And if you remember, this was covered a bit when we've done the embossing command as well. Now what I want to do is put that template on the curve. Now to do that with the one that I'm doing, again, we can go into create. Again, it doesn't matter what sketch you made, you just want to get into the sketch mode. Scroll on so you can see them. Come down and we go to project, and we project the surface. Okay, and now we pick our face, which is that one. We then pick curves. Now I know this is a bit of an anomaly because I'm going to select straight lines, but that's it. It says curves, but it could be whatever template you're using. And then I want to select the direction in which I'm going to project it. So to do that easily, and it's a point that I thought of when somebody was talking earlier on about doing sketches, there's nothing wrong with turning your bodies off so you can see and get inside a sketch as well as section wise. So I'm going to pick now the projection direction. Closest point I'll do first, and you can see it projects it onto the cylinder, but at the closest point, which ends up being at an angle, because it's taken this to the cylinder to the closest point. So what we want is a long vector, and then we choose the direction of the vector, which can be the red line, and that pops it, put the body back on it again, and that pops it on both sides of the body. The fact it's on both sides doesn't worry us. Now you might think, oh, that's great, I can do something with that. Let me get rid of that sketch a minute. But in actual fact you can't, because you might think, oh, I can't, you can't highlight it. Even if we use the push-pull tool, we can't do anything with it in effect. It's there as a sketch line. But what we can do, and this is where that little post box came in, we can use it as a path. So what I'm going to do now is go on to construct, and remember we've done this before, of a plane along a path, and shove it on there, and OK. And then we're going to construct on that plane, and we're going to do a small circle, and we come out of it. Now we're going to do our sweep command, and we're going to take that one, and the path is going to be that one, and we don't want to cut it, so we change back to join on that one, and finally on that one. And there we have our cutout that you've got there, and also a bigger one down there for the plate. And we want to make a hole in it. Now, again, we can highlight that bit, and you think, oh, great, I can use the extrude tool. No, you can't. It won't stay there. You can't extrude it. So, okay, I know we haven't done the push-pull tool, and that was one of the next ones, because you can push-pull curves. So you think, right, it's a curve. We can see that. Let's highlight it and do a push-pull. And you think, great, it's going to work. No, it doesn't. So how can we cut this out? Well, we can go back into our project command again. because what we need to do now is find the geometry of this inner edges. And to do that, we go back into our sketch mode. As I say, any sketch, doesn't matter. And we're going to go down and we're going to create, down here now, include 3D geometry. And what that allows us to do is create a sketch based on the shape. Because don't forget, we've not got a sketch with that geometry in there. We've got a sketch there with this blue line, you can see, which was the one that we done for the curve, but we don't actually have that one. So if we click on that line, whoops, there, and there, and there, and there, you can just about see that they've gone purple. And then we can finish the sketch. Now I'll move on now in the timeline. Whoops, back one. We've got a noisy motorbike round here now. So what we've got now is we've got a sketch there that we can do something with. And now we can go in and extrude it, which we've done and pushed it in. Now if we want to edit the extrude, just to show you, edit feature, what happened there was I missed the step. I do apologize. I'll back up. Whoops. We need to project this out now onto a face, so I'm going to choose the original face that we had. Let's put the sketch back on again. We go into sketch mode and we pick that sketch, which is where the blue one is. But now we want to project those lines out. So again, down to here, project, and project out the points. So now we're going to, you can see the blue one is there. So now we're going to project out the purple ones. And you can see they're going red as we do them. Swing round a bit so we can get that one. Whoops, there. So now we've actually got a sketch there now that we can do something with. So we can highlight that and we can emboss it. But if we emboss it, it will go at an angle. So let's just see that goes there. And choose it there and choose that faces there, sketch profile there, and give it some depth. And you can see it goes weird because it's gone the other side as well. So we don't use that one. The one to use is that one and basically the straightforward extrude command. And you can extrude it through there and cut the hole. Now, the issue with that one, to me, is that's great for cutting a hole, but it's not very good if I want to actually do a piece coming out because it's out here. So the easiest way, or the better way to do it with this is to highlight it into the extrude again, and over here now, choose object, and then you can pick the object from which you extrude. So if you were extruding, you could do that a lot easier. In our case, we want to cut it, so we're going to cut it and we're going to go in there and cut it and turn off the sketches, and that produces what we've got in there. Right, let's see if I've got, that's that one which we've done. I think that is as far as I want to go on that one. The others, yeah. So I'll stop at that stage because I'll just, let me just pop back in and explain something to you a moment. The project one, which we could quickly do. Let's do it on here. Suppose I want to create something that fits in this slot. But I don't want to actually measure it and sketch it and everything else. So what I can do is construct an offset plane. And let's just put an offset plane on there for a moment. I can then go into, as I say, it doesn't matter what plane I pick, because what I'm going to do now is go down here again to project itself, and this allows me now to project geometry onto that plane. So if I pick, and as I pick them, you see the red lines appearing. So if I just wanted the slot, I would pick that one, that one, that one, and that one, and finish it. And then that gives me a sketch that I can do something with. So I can start making another part, the part that might fit in there or something. It's a simple one, but imagine if you had a complicated plate and you needed something to sort of to fit together or replicate or whatever, and you don't want to redraw the whole thing again. So you can project any points you want onto a fresh surface. That's the project one very quickly, but I will just very quickly finish with this drawing that I omitted to show you earlier, which is the align one, and that is going on the align, and it was selecting that one and selecting that one. Okay, and then align and select that one and select that one, and you can see then I've got a finished assembly that I can look at even though the parts are separate.